Welcome into TDN Against The Spread. I'm your host, Paige Demacos, here with Jake Arians and Jamie Eisner. Guys, it's Christmas week. We've got football on all week. We've had some bowl games already. It just feels nice. It's like football every day. I'm never mad about it. So let's kick things off with a little holiday spirit before we get into this. What is the ultimate Christmas meal? Okay, I'm always going to argue about food, and this is always contentious on social media, right? So I'm always team Christmas food over Thanksgiving food, right? Team holiday food. So Jake, you first. You guys throw down. You guys know, everybody in that family knows how to cook. So what's coming to the table for the holidays this year?
My favorite during the actual meal would have to be like a good smoked brisket, smoked wings, something like that. Because I'm not a huge Thanksgiving guy. My favorite part of it, period, is like bourbon on the rocks with that pecan pie left over like 4 hours later. Presents are done. You got you got dad duty. So you got like all the wrapping paper in the big trash bags, and you took it all out and you come in and get the bourbon and the pecan pie. That's the best part of the Christmas meal.
I'm in. Bourbon and pecan pie. Hopefully maybe a little fire if you're in a place that's cool enough that feels like something you want. Exactly. Jamie, what's it gonna be? What's the ultimate holiday experience? I know it's a weird year, but there's still is some traditions that you can hold true to this year.
All about the main event. And that on Christmas for my family, and I'm going to try it on my own this year, so this can get really interesting, is a good, juicy prime rib. Like that is the meal. That is the go-to. Get it all prepped, spend 2 days prepping it, get it all ready, and that is going to be the main event that you carve into during the day, you carve back into that night. If you're lucky enough and there's some left over, which there might be this year, carve into it again the next morning with breakfast. Like that to me is the main event, where I think Thanksgiving is all about the sides and the desserts. Christmas is about that prime rib in the middle of the day that goes, okay, that is the main event. And I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully I don't screw it all up on my own this year.
Jamie, I'm looking forward to checking back in to see how the prime rib turns out. But man, I'm hungry now. I'm like, all right, the prime rib, that sounded really good.
Can I trade that in for a glass of Austin Hope and the end cap of Jamie's prime rib?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome too.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And Jamie, if you have some left in the morning, you should make yourself some breakfast burritos with that leftover brisket. And thank me later. All right, let's talk football now, and we can argue about food later on. Somehow I think that will inevitably become the most contentious part of the show because people get real worked up about food. That is for sure. Let's talk underdogs first and foremost. A reminder, we've got football starting off on Christmas, so you're going to have things to get into and things to bet on right away. The two underdogs this week, you guys both have divisional matchups, which I think is very interesting. So the first one is Jake's. Jake is going with the Rams in a pick'em against the Seahawks. This is a team that just got embarrassed isn't even the right word, right? I don't know what the word is past that when you lose to the Jets, but that's the word that we should describe what just happened to the Rams. So is this going to be a bounce back for this team?
You know how much I love superstars getting embarrassed and bouncing back. And who's a bigger superstar on the Los Angeles Rams than their head coach, boy wonder himself, Sean McVay, who said it in his press conference. I don't think he slept all week. Look, I like this Seattle team enough, and they're winning games, but they're not that good. This defense is better, and they're blitzing all over the place. But now you can run on them. I think McVay wants to go back to the run. Akers is out. I think Henderson steps right back in. But I really like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey being embarrassed and bouncing back. Russell Wilson, the first time around, was running for his life. I expect that to be again. When I looked at this earlier in the week, it was Rams plus 1.5. Now it's a pick 'em. So they're still going to be my dog. But I love the Rams to win this outright and win the division.
Yeah, this has become a really good matchup between these two teams for a long time. This division in general seems to always have something that gets itself to the last second that we're worrying about, right? This division came down to a half of a yard last year between San Francisco and Seattle, and now it's the LA team going up against Seattle. Jamie, you've got a divisional matchup this time. You're going with the Denver Broncos here. They're getting 3.5 points. They're playing the LA Chargers. What is it about this one that you're picking your underdog?
I just simply do not trust the Chargers. I know they might be feeling good after a couple wins in a row, but they didn't exactly look great, particularly in that one 2 weeks ago against Atlanta. I just don't believe in them. And I think that defense allows them to keep their opponents in games longer term, Keenan Allen still isn't practicing. We don't know what his status for the game is going to be. And I think Denver's a slightly better team than people are giving them credit for. They're not playoff caliber, obviously, with their record or with all the injuries that they currently have on their team. But they'll fight you, and they can have some success, I think, on the ground against the Chargers. Melvin Gordon, I'm expecting to have a pretty solid day for them as well. Noah Fant, if he's able to play, is going to have another big game. So I think the Broncos can keep this one close. It's just more of like fading the Chargers than anything else, which has kind of been a successful strategy for you this year.
Yeah, the Chargers have been a team that finds ways to lose. That is for sure. And the Broncos seem to have a little bit of something to play for, right? They want to end this year strong, a coaching staff that would like to finish, 7-9 again and have a reason to come back and try and make a move this offseason. So it'll be really interesting to pay attention to what that team does. All right, the stayaways, the games we want no part of. The guys pick one each and every week that they are staying away from. This week, the high-scoring game, right? This is a very interesting, excellent primetime matchup that we're going to get between the Titans and the Packers. Right now, the Titans are 3.5-point underdogs at Green Bay. Jake, why are you looking at this one and staying away? Is it just because these are two really, really good football teams and you just don't have a hunch one way or the other? Or what is the reason you don't want in on this matchup this week?
I'm not sure either one of them are good teams, Paige, but they're really good offenses. The Titans just passed the Packers for the top scoring offense in the NFL. But I don't like the weather. I'm not sure the Titans, can Tannehill play in the weather as good as Aaron Rodgers? Their defenses both suck. I think it's kind of a shootout, but I like the under. I have all this stuff going on that makes me go, I don't like this very much. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. There's a lot of really good games this weekend. Huge game for the Titans. Every time they've had a big-time matchup this year, they've lost it. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Browns. They beat the Colts, but I just don't trust what's going on with that defense. And if I'm going to pick against Aaron Rodgers at home, it better be somebody I got a hell of a lot of faith in. I love Derrick Henry in the running game against this Packers defense, but to me, there's just too many question marks here.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity, right? This is a big opportunity for that Tennessee Titans team. As you mentioned, they split with the Colts, right? So it's not like they swept the Colts and we have all of this to go off of. They have lost some of these premier matchups. So this is a really good one. Really looking forward to that game. All right, Jamie, your stay away is a divisional matchup that you don't want any part of, right? And I love when that happens, that Jake has one at the top and Jamie has one at the bottom where they switch, right? So this is Rams at Seahawks that he wants none of. Why are you not taking any of that? Why are you staying away from it? Even did you get talked into it when Jake was going through it, or are you still no thank you?
I'm still a no thank you. I'm going to pick the Rams to win because I agree with Jake's analysis there, but I don't know what the hell we're getting from these two teams. I'll be perfectly honest with you. The Rams should have a big bounce back effort for that defense that got embarrassed against the at the time winless Jets, the no longer winless Jets because of them. I'm expecting them to have a big bounce back performance, but Jared Goff is so erratic. Russell Wilson hasn't been good for about a month and a half now. He's really been trending downward since everybody handed him the MVP award. It's been a little bit touch and go for both of these teams. Seahawks defense has been a little bit better, but they still have more deficiencies now in the run game. Can the Rams with Darrell Henderson and not Cam Akers take advantage? There's just so many variables here for these teams. This is going to be an exciting one to watch. It's probably going to be extremely chaotic, but I don't have a great read on it overall. So you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone.
Yeah, ever since we anointed Russell Wilson the MVP and started it almost seems like the curse of Sunday Night Football. They were talking about moon balls and let Russ cook, and it hasn't been a whole lot of cooking since that midway point of October. It's actually been very strange watching the games that we've seen from Russell Wilson. So I don't have a good read on this one either, which means anything could happen in this game and I will not be surprised between these two teams. And I think it'll definitely be a good one. All right, let's talk over-unders. You both picked overs, okay, which means I'm definitely going to get a weather report at some point in our TDN Fantasy podcast. That Jamie will come in. He will play Vanna White. He will very nicely debut the weather reports for all of these games. And the first one we're talking about, it's not outside. So the weather report's not as relevant to this game. And that is the Eagles at Cowboys for Jake. You like the over here, the over at 49.5. Why are you taking that? You believing in Jalen Hurts a little bit here, Jake, or you just don't believe in that Cowboys defense, and that's why you're taking that?
a lot more of that Cowboys defense. Look, I like Jalen Hurts a lot more than I thought I was going to, especially Jamie talked about last week. Once you put it on tape, can you pivot from that? He threw the ball a lot better than I thought he would last week. Alshon Jeffrey became a thing. Fulgham's a thing. Travis Ward's a thing. Both tight ends are back. Miles Sanders is back. I like this offense. I think this offense can get to 30. And I kind of like Dallas's offense against this Philly defense. Their secondary is still really bad. If the rookie decides to turn it over, that only plays in your favor towards the over. Divisional rivalry, they both still have stuff on the table. Traditionally more of a low-scoring game, but you only got to get to 25-25 here to get this over. I like it. I think there's going to be a bunch of points scored. It could end up being a shootout and a lot of fun to watch. I hope Tony Pollard's the lead back with no Zeke for the Cowboys, and I like it even better.
All right. I like it. I'm really looking forward to that matchup and seeing what we get again from Jalen Hurts. Jamie, you're going extra. You got a special one here. You got a first half over. Right. Okay. So there's a little extra detail, everybody. So pay attention. He's talking first half specifically here. Browns at Jets. Okay. So this is anytime the Jets are involved, I always get a little nervous. Okay. But the Jets, they went on, they beat LA, right? So they've proven that they can score, and the Browns have put up a lot of points. So what are you liking about this first half? And do we have a weather report, Jamie?
I can give you one. It's going to be about mid-30s, 5-mile-an-hour winds, no precipitation. So it'll be perfectly fine for this game. But why I love the first half over here, and I thought about the game, but I thought the line was pretty sharp where it was. Here's why I like the first half. 2 reasons. The Browns are the number 2 team in the NFL in road scoring in the opening half. They're averaging about 17.4 points per game in that scenario. And this is kind of fun on the radar because the Jets, despite the Rams' best efforts last week, to prove otherwise, still, suck. But one thing they don't suck at is scoring on their opening drive. They have done it 8 straight games. Adam Gase has done really well at one thing, and that's orchestrating a solid game plan to start the game. The scripted plays have been working for the Jets all season long. Darnold plays better at home. They've then struggled in most of these games, aside from the Rams and the Raiders game, to then capitalize after that. But that's why I like this first half here. Get it over 22.5. I think this is a very good chance. This is a 17-10 game going into the break.
All right. I like the stats, Jamie, coming in hot with 2 really good stats that prove your point there on the first half over. And it has been funny that the New York Jets can come out and put together a really nice drive. They continued last week, but it wasn't. Usually that's not the case. So maybe they'll continue their streak here. Maybe they'll win some more football games and more Jets fans will be angry. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a little bit of chaos as we end the football season. Let's talk locks, guys. It's that time where you guys have to discuss what you are feeling, what your best picks are this week. Jake, you've got 2. Okay, you've got 2 locks of the week this week. So let's start off with your first one here. You got Colts at -1.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a big matchup, and I can't understate that. Like it's a huge matchup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you have no faith in them. That's what I'm taking away from this.
Monday night was a huge matchup for the Steelers. They could have locked the division. Now it's like, give it back to me. It's leaving. No, I have no faith in them. I don't like their defense at this point. That entire defense is predicated on linebacker play, and they have none left other than TJ Watt, who's really a defensive end. I don't have any faith in them. Ben doesn't look good. You're talking about this Colts defense, which I have grown to love. I liked early. Jamie and I questioned for a while, but now I love it. I don't think Ben's going to have any success throwing it. They don't even try to run it. They're in the shotgun all the time. And flip the script. I think the Colts can run it on anybody. Phillip Rivers is going to check to the best play. He has played really good the last month with T.Y. Hilton coming on. They've got some guys back. Zach Pascal came back last week, was big. Both tight ends are back. I just think the Colts are significantly better, and 1.5 points on. And I also like the fact that I think they can travel. They can go outdoors, even though this isn't Peyton Manning's dome team. This team is physical. I don't think they'll have any problems with the green painted sand that is Heinz Field this time of the year. I just love them in this one. The second one is the Dolphins, who've been great against the spread all year, but I don't have any faith in the Raiders either. I don't know which quarterback I'm getting. I don't really care. This Dolphins defense is legit. You're going to take away your outside receivers. You can run it on them okay, but I'm not having a whole lot of faith anybody's getting anything done against this Dolphins team. And Tua's been pretty solid. I think their offense is going to be just fine playing this completely inept Raiders defense. I like both of these a lot.
We have guys that if you're just joining and you've never watched this show before, you don't know this. So I'm going to give you the behind the scenes. The guys do not talk about their picks before they make them, right? So there's no correspondence. There's no like, hey, I'm going to pick this one, you're going to pick that one, right? They both have the same lock this week, right? And that is Dolphins -3. They're both locking that in. Jamie, if you've listened to our TDN Fantasy podcast, you know for a while Jamie was the enemy of the Raiders fan base, right? He told the truth when the truth really hurt, right? And now it seems like, all right, Jamie, it might be time to come back around and start dunking on some people because the old Raiders haven't been looking too good after a fast start. So let's bring back Jamie, who makes fun of the Raiders. I want that Jamie to come back on the show. Let's go.
Might have to, again, for the coach you're paying $11 billion to continue to just absolutely choke away seasons 2 years in a row. Well, that's continuing this year. And a big reason why is the defense is horrific. I mean, it has been really bad. Yes, they're banged up in the secondary, and they actually might be missing half their starting secondary again for this matchup. But their bottom 8 are basically across the board. They've got the 5th worst rushing defense in the NFL, the 7th worst passing defense. And I really like what Miami is going to be able to do offensively. Like, if you listen to the TDN Fantasy podcast, you know how much I am in on Salvin Ahmed this week as a Miami Dolphins, like a borderline RB1 in fantasy. They're going to give him the ball 20, 25 times. I think he's going to have no issue in this game. They can control the clock. They've got the better team. They're healthier offense. They're going to get a little bit healthier offensively. We'll see what combination of Gesicki or Parker or Grant is back for this game. They're playing extremely well defensively. And look, I don't really care who's going to be the quarterback. You're either going to have a hobbled Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota, who have quite frankly never been a fan of. I think he's been, going even back to his Tennessee days, one of the more overrated players. And I understand he looked good coming in out of nowhere for 3 quarters, but I'm not buying it. And if you think he's going to be able to run around against this defense that A, has had a ton of success this year in general, and B, faces Josh Allen and Cam Newton 4 times a year, you have another thing coming. This line, when it came out, shocked me. I think the Dolphins should have been at least 6-point favorites in this game. The line is wrong. I'll bring that back. I think this line is wrong, and I'm going to take the Dolphins to win and cover.
The line is wrong. I love when we come in hot. And this was a pick from both of the guys. They're locking in on the Dolphins -3, the rookie taking care of business, and a Raiders team that I'm really looking forward to starting to dunk on a little bit more. Jamie, really want to bring that heel back. I really want you to start making fun of that Raiders team again. I think that will create some good animosity with the Twitter followers, which is always fun for the show. All right, 2-minute warning. Last part of the show here, guys, where you guys each get a minute to talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. I will let Jake go first. You have a minute. Go ahead.
I just came up with like a long list as we're sitting here for my final thoughts. 1, John Gruden is under 500 his last 6 years as a head coach. I believe it goes back 8. Won the Super Bowl, finished in Tampa 45-55 before getting in the broadcast booth and taking over the Raiders job. This is not a new thing for him. 2, the Pro Bowl is an absolute freaking joke. Stop this crap with the Pro Bowl. The Bucs and the Dolphins are both 9-5 and have 1 Pro Bowler each, but the Lions have 3. Don't even get me started on some of the jokes that it is. Stop the fan voting as part of the Pro Bowl. And this year's going to be worse because they're not playing it. So you don't get the extra like 50 guys on each team that actually become Pro Bowlers. And all pro has its problems too, but this is an absolute joke. My third and final thing is I congratulated my boys at UAB for winning the Conference USA Championship again. And now they get freaking toasted because South Carolina's got so many freaking COVID cases. They just said, nah, we're not going to play the bowl game. By the way, they have more available players than UAB did going to Rice to win the West of Conference USA before going to the championship at Marshall. South Carolina, get your heads out of your ass. You hired a great new coach in Shane Beamer. Go play the bowl game and get your 2-8 asses kicked by the Blazers, please.
Let's go, Jake. Talk to him. I'm here. I would cut him off, but he had too many good points today that I couldn't allow him just 1 minute. He really needed to come in here. And I have thoughts on what he said, but woosah. You need to come back to the middle. Jamie, you have a minute. What are your thoughts? Do you have a rant? Feel free. Let's see what Jamie's got today.
Tough to follow that up, but I will try with this. We have a really, really exciting slate of games this weekend. And I think now is when we're starting to really parse out who are the contenders and who are the pretenders. And unfortunately, there's a team in Pittsburgh that's starting to look like it's in the pretenders column right now. But this is going to be a tremendous week. There's going to be a lot of teams that get eliminated. There's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of seeding changes. And I think that's even going to go into Monday Night Football, where the Bills will potentially have a chance, depending on what happens on Sunday, to lock in the number 2 seed, or at least give themselves an pretty much undisputed chance that they're going to get it. But my final point is going to be Merry Christmas, everybody, for those who celebrate. We're doing the show a day early this time because of the holiday season. Keep in mind there's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday NFL football. And I'm just going to get one plug in here for our good friends here at the Draft Network. We have partnered with the Gives program. So if you sign up for the TDN Premium service, which has a ton of features, mock draft machine, which it trades inside of the mock draft machine, which you're really going to want to have right now because there are going to be a lot of fan bases that aren't playing for anything else. If you sign up, you get to give $10 back to the charity of your choice. Maybe it's Arian's Family Foundation that we've talked about a lot on the show. Maybe it's one of the ones we've highlighted. Maybe it's one of the others. I know I've gone over my time allotment at this point, so throw a flag on me. But this holiday season, it's awesome time. It's draft season. Get a gift for yourself and give back at the same time. So if you have the ability to, I really strongly encourage you to check out the TDN Premium offerings.
Jamie, you knew I wasn't going to cut you off when you're talking about giving back during the holiday season. Obviously, it's we're going to actually be spotlighting the Arians Family Foundation for the month of January. So you'll be able to give back to them in the month of January, which is really exciting. But you can still pick them. You just got to go down. There's a search box, and you just got to type in Arians Family Foundation. They will be in there, so you can still do that as of right now. They're just not in the top 3 when you do your initial give back. I have a final thought. My final thought is, and hopefully you guys can read this.
Oh, boy.
Levante for Pro Bowl, okay?
Absolutely.
Any selection that does not involve Levante David is a bad selection. Your Pro Bowl sucks. I don't even count it in the record books. I'm so tired of this. Levante David not being in the Pro Bowl is a travesty, and that is putting it lightly. That's all I have to say. That's it. I cannot with this Pro Bowl anymore. I saw this happen, and we even got Mama Arians getting a little heated on Twitter about Pro Bowl. That's how you know. That's how you know it is bad. She was not having it, and I agree with her. Levante David for the Pro Bowl or bust. No Pro Bowl. I take your Pro Bowl and I go, no Pro Bowl. It sucks anyways. No, thank you. Levante, I will come up with my own way to celebrate. Maybe I'll send you a pack of Runzas from Nebraska to really celebrate those Go Big Red days. We'll figure out a way to celebrate you being an all-star in the NFL. All right, guys, on a more serious note, thank you to everybody who has watched the show. This was the first time we did it in this format. It's been awesome. I hope you guys have had a great happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you are celebrating. I hope you enjoy some time. Everybody is deserving of that. It's been a strange year, so I hope you at least get something that you can enjoy with your family, whether it's Jamie trying the prime rib for the first time at home or Jake having a little bourbon. You can at least find something that's going to bring you some joy this holiday season. Guys, let's end with telling everybody how they can find you on social media. Jake, you first. How can everybody find you?
Jake B. Arians on Twitter, Arians NFL on Instagram. Merry Christmas.
Jamie?
Follow me at Jamie Eisner on Twitter, and keep a lookout this weekend for the Week 16 player props. We're plus more than 20 units this year. Those are hitting really well, so keep an eye on that this weekend. Maybe end your little Christmas holiday weekend here with a little bit of extra cheddar to make up for all those gifts that you had to buy.
Let's go. We always want to make money, Jamie. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. We're always about that life. You guys can find me at the _sports page with an I on both Twitter and Instagram. You can follow our podcast at TDN Fantasy, and be sure to check everything we're doing out at thedraftnetwork.com. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.